Welcome to the C-Level Strategy Series with John Arnold. This series delves deeply into the issues business owners and leaders face each day as they operate their businesses in a post-pandemic world.
The expectations at our firm are unrealistic, and that's perfection. I tell the ladies every day, and now we have a couple gentlemen that work with us, should say is, we don't get to overcook the steak on our industry, and we are doing brain surgery every day. Now, Nisa's, I'm an investment firm, so we're not doing brain surgery. But the message to them is we don't have time, nor do we have the leeway to accidentally say, oh, we put instead of XYZ for that buy of in a stock, we put ZZZ instead by accident. The problem is humans are humans. They're gonna make mistakes, but we're always shooting for perfection. And then I say we don't get to overcook the steak because firsthand, Art, if you overcook a steak at a restaurant, the manager comes out with a new steak that's cooked to perfection and says, sorry, we're gonna comp you a dessert.
Yeah, right.
In my world, there is no overcooking the steak.
Right.
You lose some millions of dollars because you made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
It's some pain.
Right.
So my expectations for my staff are unrealistic, but they're perfection. Now, me knowing that it's not a perfect world and that people aren't perfect, we shoot for perfection because we think if we're shooting there, then we're going to try it. We're going to be close to that. With that comes compensation for those expectations. I can't just pay somebody minimum wage to be perfect, right, or to try to be perfect. So how I turn my statement into a question is how do you lay out? This goes for all three of you. Whoever wants to take the question first, please do. The expectations, what they are, and how do you help your teammates, your employees meet those expectations? What are the tools you use?
Well, I know for
Holly?
For the manufacturing, for what we do, and we get people, when they come on board, there's a discussion, their abilities, then there's a pay rate set, and we're looking at, okay, you have some time here to show us, are you as good as you say you are? Are you meeting the expectations we put out there for those expectations? If they exceed those, they know that there'll be compensation for exceeding those, and they have room to grow. And so again, communicating that to them, letting them know that that there is places to go from there, that is a very positive thing for the employee standpoint. And one of the best things that I have seen is, and my husband and I, when you can reward somebody and then they give you some feedback, then we can adjust also on our end to say, there's some changes we can make. We're always open to that. We're just as teachable as we expect somebody else to be. And we set a bar pretty high. It can't be perfection, but it's close to it as much as we can. And I think that's what people do look for. You give them that bar and they want to shoot for something. They don't want to go for status quo if you give them and communicate an expectation of that.
And you're right. And I think when you set that early expectation out there, but you also have to have systems in place for them to be able to meet those expectations. And I will tell you from a perspective of where we were 5 years ago to today, that's no easy task, because when you have that rapid of growth, the whole thing shifts on a daily, a monthly, like boom, we're at 5,000, now we're at 10,000 students. We got to get schedules. We have to have the right IT. There's so many different components that go into that. So we can have the expectation, but we also got to say you have to be mobile to change quickly, and then having those pathways set up so those people can create success for themselves and create meeting those expectations. That with fast growth, that's very challenging, not only on management's level, but on the employee level as well. So yeah, I think it's a balance. We always go back to that balance. Okay, we have these expectations, basic expectations, come into work, show up, do this, do that. But when we talk about expectations about how we execute our business model, when that's constantly shifting and changing, you got to make sure that your employees have the support from everyone around them to be able to meet those expectations. So it's on both ends. We set the expectations, but we better make sure we have the operation to make them successful. And that's no easy task when growth comes around, right? So and entrepreneurs face that every day, right?
Got to be able to shift.
And you're setting them up for success, not failure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you want to add anything to that, Barb?
We start very early in the process. Well, let me say it a different way. We start with setting our expectations for what our environment is like, what our organization is like, what they should expect in terms of the pace of programming, and I mean, we are a whirlpool of activity sometimes. And so even at the very first interview, we are very clear with people what they will be walking into and what the demands are going to be on them, and just making sure that we're being candid. In many cases, people are changing jobs, or they're making a step in their life that they might not otherwise make if they fully understand what type of what the expectations are. And I don't think we're in any way, shape, or form negative about it. We're just very candid about it. We've had enough experience where people felt like they didn't fully understand what the job description was going to be and what the demands were going to be. So from the very first interview and from the onboarding point throughout, we make sure that everybody understands the role that they've accepted or the role that they're interested in, and what we're going to need from them for everybody to be successful, and what we'll provide back to them to help make them successful.
Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell for notifications. And also make sure to connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. For all of your business news, visit businessjournaldaily.com. For all of your arts and entertainment news, go to afterhoursyoungstown.com.